Hi there. So glad that you clicked on my channel today. My name is Gloria, and I'd like to take you on a ride if you care to join me. It's a beautiful day, and we are going to see a little old hut, all made out of handmade bricks that a man made, each and every one all by himself. And I believe it was 1918 or 1926. I'll learn more when I get there, but it's in Alabama, in Fairhope. So I hope you join me today for the ride. It's so cool. That's quite the tree. Yeah. This is where he lived.
Really?
Yep, he lived here for 20 years. And the way he made it, the guy was a genius.
Yeah?
He was told by his doctor he had tuberculosis and he was going to die. So he came here. Look at the roof. Anyway, he built it so that it would stay the same temperature all the time. And then it was a misdiagnosis. Kind of neat, eh? You should sign the book. Very cool. That was the poet of Tolstoy Park. Take off your shoes and be barefoot as Henry was stand in the very center of the floor. Be still and quiet, waiting for something. Breathe deep and slow. You can say your mother's name. Yeah, apparently it's very spiritual. You can get grounded in here. I just think it's really cool. A real cool bit of history. It was very cool. He built this all by hand. Yeah? It's quite the spot here. Wow. Every one of these bricks he placed by hand. I can't remember the year this was built. It took him 381 days to build this. Each of the concrete blocks for the main walls were handmade on site. There are 239 of them, measuring 24 inches long by 8 inches wide and 6 feet tall. They would weigh about 95 pounds each. Wow. Henry baked his own bread in an outside bread oven, grew his own vegetables on elevated beds to keep away from the rabbits. He bathed in a nearby rock creek. He ate the same cold porridge every morning from grains he ground himself. So he lived in this cottage from 1926 until 1945, 19 years. Wow. In 1923, at the age of 65, Henry Stuart from Nampa, Idaho, was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Doctors' orders back in them days was to move to a better climate. Alabama was warmer than Idaho. Stuart decided to pack up and move. He bought 10 acres of wooded land in Baldwin County, sight unseen. Once Stuart got to Fairhope, Alabama, he built a simple, round, hurricane-resistant home. It was only 14 feet in diameter. He fashioned it from bricks and handmade concrete blocks. The floor level of the house was set 16 inches below the surrounding land for a more constant interior temperature. The hut was nearly completed by 1925. Stuart had a hammock that he had strung across the floor high above. He used a ladder to get to his hammock. Stuart was told at the time he only had a few months left. He had wanted a simple life. He wanted to live on his own terms. His little Alabama home supplied just that, but for a whole lot longer than a few months. Stuart lived another 22 years, and although he began in isolation, his hut became famous. He kept a visitor's log which grew to show 1,200 names. Shortly before his death, Stuart sold his holdings. He returned to Oregon to be with his son. He lived for another 2 years and passed away in 1946 at the age of 88. If you're in the area, this little hut is well worth the visit. This is quite the little gem. It is hard to believe this is found in a parking lot surrounded by business offices. Wow. Can you imagine living there? All right then. That is so cool to know that Henry Stuart lived there and never had a health issue. And they found out that he was misdiagnosed. His tuberculosis wasn't even happening within his body. Wow, that is something else. And that is in Fairhope, Alabama. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. Just really is impressive to know that someone lived by themselves, sustained their health in something that they built by hand. You know, the sad part is, that he was misdiagnosed for all those years.